All right, so here's the solution for question number 2 from Unit 2, Activity 1. And again, I stress that you should try this question before you take a look at the solution. So, 5 students, 2 teachers attend a conference at Statistics Canada. They pose for a picture. How many ways can they line up side by side for a picture? Okay, sounds pretty straightforward. So I think I'm going to change my color here of my pen. All right, so we have 7 people in total, 5 students, 2 teachers. And so basically, think of that slot method. The first place in line, I have how many people that I could put in that first spot. Well, I have 7 total people, so I could possibly put any one of the 7 in that spot. Then I look at the second place in line. I now have 6 people because one of them is now standing in spot 1 or slot 1. So I only have 6 choices that can go second place in line. And if I follow the same logic, third place, I now am down to 5, then 4, then 3, then 2, then 1. And there we have it. So I have a total of 5,540 possible ways to arrange those 7 people standing in line. Alright, so now let's answer the second question in number 2. In how many ways can they line up if they must have the teachers on both sides of the picture? So now we've got a restriction that's being imposed on us in this problem. In particular, the 2 teachers, the way I read it is they have to be on either end of the line. So we start with a teacher and we end with a teacher, but in between is where we have our 5 students lining up. So the first of all, let's talk about how we place our teachers. So at the first spot in line, how many choices do I have? I have 2 choices because I have 2 teachers. And so I can put either one of the 2 teachers here. So I have 2 choices. Now let's finish up talking about where to place the teachers. Well, the remaining teacher has to end up right here in the last spot in line because, again, we want a teacher on either end of the picture. And now in between, in the spots in between in line, we have the 5 students. So the second spot, we have 5 choices. One of the 5 students must go in that second spot. In the third spot, one of the 4 remaining students. And so on down to fill up the remaining spots in line, 3, 2, and our final student goes here. And we're going to multiply this together because of the fundamental counting principle. The number of ways that every action can occur has been listed, and so the total number of ways that all the actions can occur is the product. And so what do we get? Well, 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. I know that's 120, and I'm basically doubling it. So the total number of ways is 240. All right, the final question, what's the probability that the 2 teachers occupy 2 of the 3 middle slots? So I've put a box or a rectangle around those 3 middle spots, and so it's going to take a little bit of work. And so the first thing, though, I notice is I'm asking for the probability. So again, probability requires 2 things. I need to know the total number of ways my event can happen, which is having those 2 teachers in here in 2 of those 3 spots, and then the total number of outcomes possible, which I've already got. The total number of possible ways to line all 7 people up was the very first question. So our number of elements in the sample space or universal set is 5,040. Remember, that was the very first question. How many ways can I line them up? Now, let's talk about how we're going to figure out the number of ways that the 2 teachers can occupy 2 of the 3 middle spots. So I'm going to call the 2 teachers TA and TB for teacher A and teacher B. How many ways can they take up 2 of these 3 spots? Well, here's one way. I can put teacher A here and then teacher B here. And then the remainder of the spots have to be filled by the students. Now, how many ways can that happen? Well, I have 5 choices here, 4 choices here, 3, 2, and 1. So similar to part B, where we were filling in the middle spots once we put the 2 teachers on the ends. So the total number of ways that this can happen works out to 120. But you probably were thinking, wait a sec, you could probably put the 2 teachers in a different 2 spots in the middle. So let's investigate that. So here's another way that teacher A and teacher B could have been positioned. Teacher A could be in the 3rd spot and teacher B could be in the 5th spot. And so now, again, just like in the previous one, I have to fill in the remainder of the spots with the students. And again, it's 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. So we've got these multiple cases. Now, how many more cases do I have? I'll let you think about that, but then I'm going to populate the screen with a few more. Okay, so hopefully you were able to figure out, yeah, I can put teacher A right in the middle and put teacher B in, keep them in the 4th spot. And so that's a different arrangement. It's a different order. And so I've got another 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1, or 121 possible ways to arrange them. So I'm going to squeeze that up in here. Now, maybe some of you are saying there, well, wait a sec. Isn't there another way to do it? What if I had put teacher B first, followed by teacher A? And you're absolutely right. There are more possible cases to consider. So what I'm going to do is I've cloned that teacher B and teacher A so I don't have to keep writing this. So I could have had teacher B here and teacher A here, or teacher B here, teacher A here, or teacher B here and teacher A here. So these are all the cases, and in all of these, again, the remainder of the spots are taken up by the students, which have 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1, 120 ways to fill in the remainder of the spots. All right? And so the total number of ways that the 2 teachers can fill the 2 of the 3 middle spots is 120 times 6. So I'm going to write this down here. N of A, where our event is A is that the 2 teachers occupy 2 of the 3 middle spots, is 120 times 6, which is 720. So the probability that the teachers occupy 2 of the 3 middle spots will be 720 out of 5,040. Which as a percent works out to about 14.3%. There we have it. So notice that we had multiple cases there, and we had to kind of just go very deliberately and consider all the possible ways. To be able to do well in this unit, you've got to do a lot of the problems. This is a problem solvers course, and I think I mentioned that earlier. A lot of people see data management as the easiest of the 3 U-level maths, and if you look at the actual operations we're doing, there's no derivatives here, there's no instantaneous rate of change or tough function analysis here, but you're just basically multiplying numbers together. The challenging thing is figuring out, as you just saw, what numbers and how do I kind of lay out all the possibilities that can happen. And that's where this course is challenging. It is not as easy as everybody thinks. It is a problem solvers course. You got to read the problems carefully, lay out every possible scenario, and work out those scenarios.